On our panel, we have experts from various domains, each bringing unique insights into how AI is influencing their fields, what it means for the future of work. Let's get ready for an engaging conversations about the innovation, adoption, and the road ahead for AI-powered world. Please join me in welcoming the first panelist, Snehit Allam Raju. Snehit Allam Raju brings 18 years of experience in the data industry, spanning geographies, technologies, and roles. A true community-first leader, he's passionate about blending data, strategy, and people to drive impact. Currently serving as a director of data analytics at RSM US, Snehit is shaping the future of data-driven decisions. Let's give a big welcome to Snehit Allam Raju. Music. With over 15 years of experience in driving digital transformation across Fortune 500 companies and startups, our next panelist is a master of leveraging AI and data to solve complex challenges, currently serving as a senior manager of data and AI platform solutions at ServiceNow, known for leading a cutting-edge AI engineering team delivering impactful data-driven solutions. Let's give a warm welcome to this dynamic leader, Pushpanjali Sharma. Moving to the third panelist, Prasanna Rambatla. With over 20 years of experience, Prasanna is a master of strategy, transformation, and innovation. From launching new practices to leading organization change, his expertise spans agile, design thinking, global delivery. A scholar from Carnegie Mellon US University, guest faculty at top technology and business schools. He has shaped leaders and driven groundbreaking projects like Project PCTVT with Professor Raj Reddy. Currently, he is a Vice President, Consultant Practice at CIC India. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce another exceptional leader joining this panel. With over 22 years of experience in software development and leadership role, known as Babu Rajendra Kumar, is a visionary in distributed and cloud architect, agile practice and digital transformation, currently serving as a vice president of engineering at Surfy. Babu has successfully led projects across Azure, AWS, driving digital transformation from the ground up. His expertise spans in multiple domains of RCM, supply chain, logistics, education, and it's just on. And other leadership roles in data science, analytics, crowd, and industry giants like Microsoft, Amazon, and Oracle. A passionate advocate of continuous learning, Babu has proven track record in people management, talent retention, and career development. Please give a big round of applause to dynamic leader Babu Rajendra Kumar. Now, to moderate this powerful panel discussion of leaders, I welcome PSF's core member and a senior manager at Deloitte Consulting, where he leads AI and Gen AI practice of consumer industry. A true sports enthusiast, he brings the same passion and energy to his work, and he does for his love towards game. Please join me in welcoming Abrar Hosseini.
Thank you, Nisar. And good afternoon, everyone. How's the Josh? I know we have a very tough act to follow after the stand-up, but we'll try to entertain in a different way, right? So we'll try our best. So I'll be moderating the panel discussion, and I'm firstly I would like to thank all our esteemed panelists here for joining us here, and everyone is, as you have seen, at a very senior level working in AI and data. So it's going to be a really good discussion, and we'll also have time for Q&A at the end. So feel free to ask questions at the end, right? So I'll start with the first question to Mr. Prasanna. So we have all seen how AI and Gen AI has transformed the world, right, in the past few years. So what do you feel like going forward? what are the trends? What are the things that we should look forward to in the industry?
Sure. Before I dive into Gen AI, generic AI, what powers us as humans, the apex predator is the natural intelligence. Nothing can, will, or forever beat it. Okay? We need to start with that premise because every now and then, I had the great opportunity of working at NASA, which is not listed in my introduction, almost 23 years ago, right? And that's 23 years ago, I was working with a professor who did PhD at Stanford, 1960, the first PhD in artificial intelligence at Stanford. So today we talk about virtualization, VMware. 1954 was when virtualization was patented by IBM. And VMware as a company was born in 1999, which gave the tailwinds to the cloud and the whole as-a-service momentum, which is what is fueling the progress of artificial intelligence. Now, let me ask you a very simple question. How many of you continue to order on Big Basket Now, Zepto, the so-called quick commerce? Excellent. Why do you order on Zepto's, Big Basket Now's? Quick, faster. So we, human race, as we have progressed, ye dil mange more. We always want everything to be delivered yesterday, not today, right? That's the pace at which we are evolving. Now, how cool it would be if I can have a digital assistant that can continue to work for me, with me, empowering and progressing me in my progression on whatever I'm doing. That's exactly where the Gen AI and AI are coming up and powering up as a new digital species that is emerging along with us. Now, when I say a simple word, okay, mother, and if I request all of you to visualize your own mother that brought you here onto this planet after carrying in the temple of womb for 9 months, the simple same word mother would give a visual representation of very different picture to every different being, isn't it? That's exactly what an Gen AI LLM would do. When it is working with Prasanna, it will have a different context than with Babu, depending on what my personal experiences are, what my personal choices are, the whips that Sajad was mentioning, the values, interests, passion, and everything that defines what Prasanna is. That's what the LLM that is powering the AI would basically make it context sensitive to me. Now, these are emerging and evolving. What AI can never do is replace the natural intelligence. At the end of the day, it's humans. We are the ones who are powering. Today, we are making the systems emulate humans, but even after so much of progression, we have so many people who are struggling with organs that they're not able to get. Kidneys, liver, lungs. The day science cracks the code on how these organs can be artificially produced, that's when we are making progress using some of these tools of transformation that would help the humanity on the looming crisis. Now, you might not have noticed one thing. If you are in NCR region or even if you are in Hyderabad, we are all surrounded in an artificially air-conditioned room. In the same context of Hyderabad, would we want to have an open-air auditorium where we can have this discussion? Would you prefer to have an open-air auditorium? Why? Why not? Noise, pollution, AI that is giving us so much of artificial benefits is causing havoc on the planet on the ESG perspective. What nobody is talking about at this point in time, the power consumption, the carbon offset. We can only use these technologies when fundamentally our existence is not challenged. When we are using these technologies, you never know how much carbon is being produced. Unfortunately, like a COVID, carbon being produced in India will not be contained only to India. Carbon being produced in China will not be contained only to China. That's where we are trying to solve these mega problems that fundamentally question our existence tomorrow for the benefits that we are deriving today. And that's predominantly where all the COP28s, the climate control boards of the world are coming together to fight this looming crisis that nobody's talking about for some instant gratification that we are continuing to get today for the commercial dollars that companies like Nvidia and others continue to make. But that will be the biggest crisis and existential problem that we have to solve. Now, coming to from the macro, changing to the micro of our careers and understanding how Gen AI is going to be useful for us. Now, AI and Gen AI are going to come and going to disrupt everything we do. The reason I asked you the question on Big Basket now and Zepto is you want everything delivered faster. Amazon is experimenting and about to launch Stage as a quick commerce thing. Now, since we need everything to be delivered faster at the same price or less, those of you who are experimenting with Zepto, you would have seen Zepto Super Saver that they recently introduced where you have to buy a minimum of 1,000 rupees. And the same product will be available at 15 or 20% more discount. In order to get the discount, you are loading up your cart with unwanted things at that point in time. Okay? Now, Gen AI is essentially going to help us and accelerate whatever we do. It's going to put us on steroids, and therefore, just like the pyramid of any pyramid, I started the conversation with the humans being the apex predator of the pyramid. Everyone at the bottom of the pyramid is easily displaced. We had many sponsors who were talking about real estate, but the true real estate that you have to invest in is, again, going back to Sajja's thing, heart, hands, and your mind and body. This is the real estate that we walk with around. As long as this real estate continues to function, you can continue to function and invest in other real estates. But charity begins at home. So start your investment. The moment you are, how many of you recall, go back and do this social experiment at home. Ask your mother and father on how many mobile numbers they remember, versus ask yourself if you remember your mother and father's mobile number. With the advent of technology, we are outsourcing our most intellectual capabilities to devices today. And therefore, the whole pipeline of data transferring into information, information transferring into intelligence, intelligence transforming into insights is missing in us. And these are the people who will be easily displaced and replaced by AI. AI is coming. When AI is coming and disrupting us, for example, and Amazon recommends people who bought this product are likely to buy this product. When you watch a Netflix, it says, since you have watched these movies, this is a recommendation. But when you look at a Zepto, it has created many jobs for people who can deliver. But is that really a value-added job? Probably not. So people at the bottom of the pyramid are the most vulnerable to be displaced and replaced. If you are doing a job which is set of repetitive things, like every day, those are the repetitive things that are at the huge risk of getting displaced and replaced. Okay? But what I would say on a concluding note as an answer to this question is, if you are on a path of adding value, not just defining a set of tasks that you are delivering with a desired outcome, and you bring in the fire of the natural intelligence where the machines cannot beat the human yet. And if continue to add that value and increase that value quotient that you contribute, right? For example, Zepto came up with a super saver concept. It's obviously a human that is working behind saying, Prasanna is spending 500 rupees on Zepto. If I can make him spend 1,000 rupees every purchase, my margin is increasing. My cart value is increasing. Therefore, I'm making more profits. Can I increase this? It's not a machine. He or she is using the data, the insights and the intelligence from the machine, from the data, and making these decisions. So you have to pivot to that. Sajjad was also mentioning about mentors. It's extremely important to get a mentor, but I would suggest you to go get a coach, a Pullela Gopichand, that's very much from our same city of Hyderabad. You see two international champions, PV Sindhu and Saina Nehwal, who won the international champions and then walked away from the coach. What happened? Whatever happened to Allu Arjun after Pushpa 1 to Pushpa 2, same thing happened to them. They became international stars. They could not take, even now, Pullela Gopichand shows up at 3:30 a.m. to train his team. And you need a coach along with a mentor who is going to push you way above your comfort zone. And that coaching job has been outsourced to your mothers and fathers as long as you are in school and college. Now, You need to talk to the most important person. Again, going back to Sajjad's VIP point, most important. Are you having conversations with the most important person, which is you yourself? Are you looking at the mirror and talking to yourself saying, what is that I don't have today that I need to equip myself with? If you are going to equip yourself with those skills, then your job will turn into a career. And as your job is turning into career, you just need to have some fuel to progress the acceleration. And that's where tools like AI will come in and accelerate whatever value you're creating. And that's exactly where the future that we are seeing is pivoting towards. Hopefully I answered, long answer to a short question, but hopefully that delivers the message. Thank you.
Thanks, Prasanna. That was very informative, right? And I'm assuming you have a lot of key takeaways from this. And I'll just to summarize what Prasanna said, right? And this I've heard from a lot of leaders in the AI industry as well. So AI won't replace you, but a person using AI will, right? So that's the key takeaway we should take from here. So on similar lines, right? We have heard a lot about how AI is doing and helping us, right? This question is more for Pushpanjali, right? So we have heard all the good things, right, of how AI can consider, like, but people consider it to be a genie and a magic wand, but that's not the case, right? So what are those common myths and misconceptions that you would like to enlighten the audience about?
Yeah, so it's working, right?
Thanks.
Yeah. So the myth is that AI is magic wand, right? So in industry, in companies, or your managers will come and tell you, you know AI, it's just a bunch of, code. ChatGPT use कर लो, आपको कोड मिल जाएगा, आपका मॉडल बन गया, 2 दिन का काम है. And this is the kind of, ask you see in the companies in real time, right? And when you start working on the problem as an engineer, you will see there is a lot of problem. The problem is coming from the data, right? You are asked to build a AI model, say, classification model, simple, right? For customer data. And when you go to the customer team and ask them, they don't have data. But you're supposed to build the model within 2 days, maybe an hour job, right? Yes, it's an hour job because the code is available in the internet, and of course, the classification model has been designed, say, in 1950s. But the point is that, do you have everything to build that model and put it in the production to do some, business decision making? In reality, what we need to build an AI model or build an AI project and make it into the production and really deploy it and make it work, we don't have all the things in place, especially data. We don't have the processes. And on top of that, maybe you are a very good engineer and you know each and everything about AI, right? Unfortunately, the people around you are not as educated as you are, right? It is very easy to say that, okay, just run, put a prompt in ChatGPT, get the code, and you are done. But the moment you do a copy paste, do you know what to change in that particular code to make the code work? Right? So you are dealing with people who do not have domain knowledge, who do not have any data understanding. There is no data strategy in place for the companies, right? And also, your stakeholders are not very aware that the problem they are trying to solve may not need AI to solve the problem. Every problem in the industry, or say healthcare or finance or anywhere, right? It do not require AI to solve the problem. In today's world, AI is still good to have, not must have. So also one point is there, do not call yourself as data scientist or machine learning engineer, Gen AI engineer. First, you have to become an engineer, because if you do not become an engineer first, you will not be able to understand that AI is not magic. AI is just a set of, concept, right, to be used to do some kind of business decision making. Maybe by designing a dashboard, you can do that, decision making, and you do not need AI. So in reality, we talk about AI, you must be seeing a lot of hype in the market. That if you're a software engineer, your salary is going to be very low. If you are a BI developer, your salary is going to be low. But if you become a Gen AI engineer, you will get a lot of money. That's a myth, right? Once you get inside a, inside a company, right? You get your first job. Your work may start with Excel, right? You will get a lot of work on Excel because you have to get the domain knowledge, right? Communication skills is very important for you as an intern also. The reason being is that you have to talk to a lot of people to get the job done. In today's world, interns are also asked to get the job done. And third point is, AI is still good to have, not must have. So companies are not prepared to onboard in the AI journey. Yes, Google has released Gemini. We have ChatGPT, right? But how many industries really adopting to this, Gemini or say GPT 4.0 or any other LLMs? Or forget about Gen AI. Let's talk about foundational AI, classification model, linear regression. How many of us has seen it, that the industries are really adopting to it? Very less. We have been talking about, countries like Dubai. In Dubai, in the industries we see, it's very human-driven, right? A lot of companies falling into the category of oil and gas, real estate, they are still not onboarded to AI/ML, and they still are very afraid if they can use a predictive maintenance model in their production, right? So can we say that we all are onboarded on AI? But I don't think so we are. The myth is that AI is not the engine that is running the world. It's a data that is like the main component, and you can use AI to do something on the data. The myth is that industries are not prepared, and you people have to start as an engineer, then you become an AI/ML expert or something in that particular domain. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. That's a very good point, right? So, and I think if we tie this back to what Mr. Sajjad mentioned earlier in terms of our key learning development, so we have this broader knowledge that we need to take, right, which is more around fundamentals. So AI is just one piece of it, right? You also need to be a good engineer, have a good understanding of data, and all the related roles nearby. So that broader knowledge will definitely help you scale up and be better at your job. So yeah, AI we have heard a lot, right? So can someone tell me when was this term artificial intelligence coined? Any guesses? Is it like few years back? Like any guess on when AI was actually coined, the term artificial intelligence? From the audience? Any other answers? It's actually close. It's 1956, right? So it goes way back. Some people said 1960, 1948. You were close enough. 2020 or 2010 is when people started to know more about it. Hence, maybe some answers around that. But 1956 was the term, and it was coined by John McCarthy. He's also known as the father of AI. So he coined that term, and it has been for long, but now because of all these other components, it has come into the mainstream. So Snehit, on the similar lines, right? So all the companies, right, IT companies need to have skilled workforce to help with this, right? So how are organizations, based on your experience, helping the employees upskill and get into AI and all the related data engineer and all the other roles associated with it?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Again, first of all, thanks to the PSF for providing this platform for discussion on a broad scale on AI. I think from a organization perspective, right? Again, it's not just IT organizations, but any organization today, they have to have AI component at some point of time, right? And again, it's not just because they actually need it, but it's because their investors need it, or the board needs it, or the CEO says, hey, I want to be known as a CEO who introduced, say, AI for the company, or something like that, right? So not just IT organizations, of course, professional service organizations, are serving their clients, and clients are coming to them saying, hey, what is it can you help us with in terms of AI or Gen AI or whatever that is, right? So I think there are three components, in terms of how or what organizations are doing or can do, right? First of all, of course, is laying the foundation. So we talked about, data literacy, right? So AI is just, like the cherry on the, cake, right? But how you need to have strong data foundation, data literacy is, I think that's where, if you see, most companies, both product-based companies like Microsoft, Google, AWS, who provide these products or services in terms of AI and Gen AI, they already have democratized all of their courses, certifications, everything is almost out there, for people to take, right? Then you have the second layer where, there are institutions or colleges or academia who are building that or trying to impart that at a foundational level itself. And then of course organizations tend to start probably hiring these folks who are already in that specialization. Back when I did my engineering and I passed out in 2007, there was no Bachelor of Technology in AI or ML, right? Now we do, right? So it has percolated down to the academia level now. So now companies are also looking for those specializations, even though there is still a skills gap in terms of what's in the academia versus what the industry needs, right? But once you have people, organizations typically do two things, right? One, either they upskill in the sense, people who are already there, and you need an add-on in terms of the skills that are required of what they need or what they're looking for from the industry. So there is upskilling. Then there is reskilling. So people who have been working over a period of time on older technologies or technologies that are being outdated. So how do you ensure that you're having a reskilling program within your organization so that these professionals can reuse what they have over their career, but then apply that by just taking these programs. Then of course there are always memorandum of understandings between, say, product-based companies and companies who are providing or imparting this education, that hey, by the year 2025 or 2026, we would have, say, 1 lakh professionals skilled in AI, right? So you'll see a lot of that in the news as well today, right? So upskilling, reskilling, of course from a technology standpoint, but if you look at it from learning perspective, right? Think of it like a Rubik's Cube, right? There is an industry. I think Sajat talked about technology. Sajat talked about the industry, right? So how you apply AI or use AI can be different in multiple industries. Healthcare can look at it differently versus how, say, a professional service organization can look at it differently, right? So having tailor-made programs, for themselves, to be able to ensure that they are getting full advantage or their employees are prepared for, using or imparting that for their products or for their services is the next level, right? So first there is a general level, there's foundation first, then there's general level training, and then there is specific level training from a technology standpoint or from an industry standpoint. And I think what our organizations are also doing is, I think again Sajat talked about, I think it's a nice segue, your keynote for this panel discussion, because just training doesn't help, right? How do you ensure that you're putting it to use, the practice of it, right? And again, not all organizations might have a use case on AI or generative AI. And again, generative AI not just means, how many of you use ChatGPT here? I'm sure most of you. If you're not, you have to use it, right? But again, it's not just limited to language. You have vision, you have voice and stuff like that, right? So different, industries might have different use cases on AI. And then how do you ensure that, say, if you're a product-based company, if you have to put forward a case for AI use case within your organization so that, you can start off using AI, then you have to work on a proof of concept, or a beta testing or something like that, right? If you're a professional services organization who you're working with clients, then you need to ensure that you're not missing out on the rat race, because companies are already out there talking about a Gen AI roster of services that they provide, right? So, how do you ensure that you are working on proof of concepts across technologies, across industries and across use cases, right? And then, of course, while all of this is happening, there is new things coming up. Now the latest thing is agentic AI. Until a couple of years ago, it was all about prompt engineering. Before that, it was data science, right? So you have to ensure that you are keeping up, with the pace at which the industry is changing, right? So organizations are typically looking at pushing things to wherein people are skilled, and then having them take these additional add-ons to ensure that they are keeping up with the pace at which they are changing, while also ensuring that they have work and they are not just trained or having a certificate for the sake of it, right? Again, certifications are good, they are good validations of it, but they are just that, validations, right? What a professional or a hands-on or a production grade, as you mentioned, experience doesn't really, it's actually more important than a certification per se, right? So I think those are the three things, upskilling, reskilling, and making sure that they are having this multi-level approach to learning and development. I think that's where organizations are doing it.
Definitely, right? So marketing, they start off with marketing just to showcase, like we are training, like you said, 1 lakh employees, right? But then as an employee, you have to take that opportunity and upskill and reskill yourself, right? So take it and then learn and apply. That's what we should do to upskill and be relevant in the industry. And so next question to Mr. Babu, right? So India has become the global hub for AI. So all of us, Hyderabad, Bangalore, like India is now the global hub. You would have seen a lot of CEOs, Indian origin CEOs leading all the big MNCs, right, in the world. So as a professional, right, what advice would you like to give to the audience here on what they should do to be relevant and improve themselves in the market and become like the key milestone providers, right? Yeah.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I know that I am the last person before the lunch. I'll not take much time, but I'll ask you one question. Before asking question, I would like to thank the PSF group for inviting me over here. Please raise hands if in case you've been to Hyderabad, Amirpet sometime in the last 10 years. Okay? Have you seen the advertisements written behind autos in Amirpet? Yes. Right? That is the latest trend happening in the country. Right? DevOps, CI/CD, Gen AI, all these are the advertisements that you see, right? So information is around us. You don't need to scout for it. Information comes to you always, right? But you need to capture for it and then do the next steps, right? Before I proceed to answer straightforward the question that he has asked, but he has put me into some trouble of how do, as an individual, can gain something to do the best, right? I have two choices, straight away question book answer back to him or empower somebody, right? And I always tell the people is, you should know something called KSA, knowledge, skill, and the ability, right? Only on these three, you will be able to express your willingness. That's what I always keep to tell a lot of people. One of my direct employee who worked under me a few years ago, sitting in the first row and laughing at me right now, by listening the statement because Babu bar bar wahi bolta rehta hai, right? So whatever you perceive and get it is a knowledge. Once you practice, that becomes your ability. In case you don't show any willingness, nobody will turn to you. And the meaning of AI for me is actionable insights. It's not artificial intelligence. Reason of saying actionable insight is AI should help me so that I can do some actionable insight. AI should not help my boss without leaving me around. Even I have some home loans, I have kids, I have to take care of them, right? Yeah. So change is constant in the world. In the last two decades, you have seen there is a rapid changes are happening. Every 4 years, there is a change in the industry very rapidly. When I am studying my engineering, 94, 98 during that time. The first time in 96, I have seen Windows 95. Until that time, it is character user interface. Then somebody told me there is a mouse. Then I thought of complaining to the college saying that there are mouses moving around. Then I understood that they are talking about the physical mouse attached to the computer. That is the ignorance I have on that day. Lack of my intelligence, right? But over a period of time, I have understood. In 15 years, mouse is gone. Today, how many of you guys really use mouse when using laptop? Right? Very few hands are coming up, right? Maybe their trackpad is not working or they are used to it. Right? For me, everything that comes has to go away in some time, in 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. Right? But the knowledge, your willingness, your ability, your skill cannot be removed from you. Right? That means you have to wake up like a student, something learn new every day, share the knowledge by end of the day. If you can do this almost 3 times in a week, I think nobody can beat you. As part of my introduction, it was mentioned that I have 22 years of experience. They made me little younger by 4 years. Thank you for them. I have 26 years of experience. Where does that 4 years went off, right? So I did my master's while working. In the LinkedIn, they calculated that gap between master's to here. Good that they haven't calculated my recent education. Otherwise, they say that I'm eligible like LKG. Right? Hey, sorry for all these jokes, right? It is ensure that they're hungry and they're listening to me, right?
It's food for thought for them, right? So I definitely feel that they would wait for biryani because this is really good food for thought for them. So please continue.
Yeah. So in 2017, when I was working in one of the company, the homework that was given to me is they wanted to launch data centers across the globe. And as part of the launching data center, what is the workload they need to launch? Is it a storage? Is it a compute? Is it a visualization? We don't know. Then we wanted to look at the history from 2013 to 2017 and then come up with some. We came up with moving averages algorithm, ARIMA algorithms, etc. All they have worked for a week, 2 weeks, 2 months. Again, machine also learns like us, na? Then it's very difficult for us to cope up. I was not able to understand statistics and the Excel data that she was mentioning. Then I told to my wife that I'm going for a tuition. Then she asked me, is it tuition to you or to your daughter? I said, it's to me. What time? 6 a.m. Where are you going? I went to a tuition to a BA.Com analytics teacher, professor, he's a statistics professor, charged me 40,000 for 3 months, from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock to teach me mathematics. Because I'm a core mathematics and normal mathematics, but I don't know statistics much. Using that knowledge, I have joined in ISB, Indian School of Business, and become a certified data science analyst, right? So I have done my own preparation. Should I directly join ISB or should I prepare myself first, right? Using these 2 levers, I always judge myself and keep moving. And your journey is important, your outcomes are not important. Only journey takes you to the next levels. One more question, I will ask one small question. How many of you guys listen to music by wearing headphones or whatever? The moment you listen to 4 or 5 songs, the next songs keep coming. Is it artificially intelligent? Somebody created that actionable insight some time ago. That's why the new songs keep coming. Are the songs only work for Kishore Kumar songs or ghazals or only Devi Sri Prasad? It works for everything, right? I'm the person who created that idea in 2012 in Amazon. And it has been implemented in Amazon Music. Later on, all the companies copied it, right? What is the pleasure I get is the moment I see somebody wearing a headphone, not touching their phone, and continuously listening, that means my algorithm is working. Right? There could be multiple phases of algorithms, but I am the one of the initiator, put the first seed. By the time fruits have come, I'm no more working in Amazon, but I still see that all the fruits are from the same seed, right? Now, let me answer to the question. What is a quick one thing that you guys can take before you go to the lunch is you have to be like a student on every day, irrespective of your age. Learn something new with respect to Gen AI as well as AI. Take actionable insights. Using that actionable insights, keep doing your homework. If needed, you have to go to Amirpet once in a while to see the background that is written in autos. So, right? I keep going it. I ask my wife is, okay, I will go for 2 hours somewhere around and come back. Right? Yesterday, my wife wanted me to take to AMB Mall near Kondapur. I've dropped my kids as well as my wife there. I said, I'll be back after some time. I went to High-Techs. There is an exhibition going on, schools, higher education, medical equipments, and travel industry. I visited all those places. There also it is written AI. Right? What is that 4-year-old person can do in the school using AI? I don't have the answer. When your kids are faster than you, be prepared for the answers. Right? That's the only message I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Babu. And have you ever considered stand-up comedy? I mean, I'm assuming most of people here would like you to be part of that as well, right? So alternative career, anytime you can take that up.
Thank you so much for sharing its stories, Babu. But quickly, I want to pause here and see if anybody has any questions for the panel. We have very few minutes.
Hi, my name is Atif. As the industry is moving towards industry-specific AI, what is that PSF can add as a value add, as a service or a training? You would suggest something so that we can empower the next professionals to come into the industry and be ready for it. Thank you.
Sure. Is it okay if I take?
Sure.
For me, I think AI should be looked at an acronym. A for analytics, B for business, C for communication, D for domain, E for domain experience is coming through, F for finance, right? G for generic specifics, I'll come back to it, H for heuristics, and I for intelligence. We have to expand AI. What we don't have in India today is we continue to produce as a factory thousands of engineers. They don't have business knowledge of how business functions. They have no knowledge about how accounts. Every business needs to survive, so it has to be profitable. How does a real estate business work versus a retail, versus a bank, versus an insurance? Majority of our graduates have no clue about business. If they need to be successful, if many of you are in the room because of your future earning, isn't it? If you need to take care of your future earning, you have to invest in your current learning. If you invest in learning, earning will be taken care of. So giving them the domain knowledge on how a bank makes money. All the banks in India today have a major problem because majority of the adults who are just getting into their adulthood are not investing in savings bank or RDs, but they are investing in mutual funds. So banks no longer able to have the CASA ratios, the current account to saving account ratio. Now, how would a Canara Bank, a Punjab National Bank, or a State Bank of India will continue to give us loans? Taking our own money, giving the loans at 12% or 14% or 16%, depending on the type of loan, but giving you back 4% or 6% on the savings bank. That's how they used to function. Now, many of our graduates have no clue on how these businesses are functioning. If we can train them without really going to a business school, without really going to a specialized school to learn domain, that's when our engineers or our computer specialists can continue to become much more employable in the changing landscape that's going to be disrupted by AI. Business and domain experience and generic specifics. If I'm talking about retail, do I know, he was talking about AMB Mall, what gets sold in AMB Mall more if I'm a mall owner versus an in-orbit mall versus a Hyderabad Central? Therefore, how do I basically give the real estate in the mall, which is generally, if you go to an in-orbit mall, you will see the top brands on the ground floor, where the rent is very, very high because of the footfall and the visibility. Now, if you need to bring in an AI model in there, you need to understand the domain. You should not be the one who is trying to tighten all of you probably heard the story of that a ship getting anchored by the New York port and it was not moving. So they brought in all the experts, nobody was able to fix it. Then they brought in an 84-year-old, retired marine engineer who just took a hammer and hit one screw and gave $1 million. The company was shocked. They said, you just took a hammer and hit it on top of a screw, why is $1 million? He wrote $2 for hitting the screw. Knowing which screw to hit is million minus $2. That's essentially what's missing for us today. Okay, thank you. Hopefully I answered your question, sir.
Thank you so much for the insightful answer. Any other questions? We can take one last question. I've seen multiple hands, so I'll choose the hand which is closest to me, considering we have little time.
Before the next question, I would like to add a small thing.
Sure, sir.
The question is about what is that I have to learn specific for the generative AI or something. Domain knowledge is important. How deep you know into the domain knowledge is also important, but how much you are aware of the current contextual domain knowledge is more important. And the fact that you guys are here, that means you made your first step for the learning.
So I'm from PSF. My question is for Babu. I just took a small clip of Sakil, the comedian who just went, right, after the stage show. I asked him, you're working already in a corporate environment, and you're also doing this. Is this a doable job, or like can someone actually explore this, this domain? And I would love to see Babu continue this question where Nisar cutted him when Abrar just asked, would you consider comedy next?
Yeah, if it is empowering somebody based on my speech and analogies that I've given, why not?
Thank you, sir. You're very sportive. Thank you so much. I think with this, now we conclude this panel. I request PSF's core members, Atif Damodi and Nadeem, to come onto dais and give this mementos. Please give a big round of applause for this powerful panel. I hope we have all learned something. People who still have questions, you can continue with those questions. Just park them somewhere. The speakers will be here during lunch. You can connect with them and ask your questions. I hope that is allowed. Thank you.